Across 20-something officially released Contra games I've played in this channel so far, there's been a wide variety of playable characters. Each one has something different about them, whether it be their weapons, their movements, or their playstyle, or just their attitude and behavior. Some of these are memorable, and some, well, not so much. On today's list, we're counting down the top 10 playable characters from all Contra games. Well, at least the ones released in the US.
Number 10.
In 2011, Konami released their last Contra console game to this date, called Hardcore Uprising. There are two playable characters from the start, Colonel Bahamut and Crystal. In 2613, the world was under rule by the evil Commonwealth. Colonel Bahamut was a member of this organization until one day he abandoned them for killing of innocent people and started the resistance. A group of elite soldiers coming together to put a stop to the Commonwealth and its leader Tiberius. In the beginning intro, you can see some of the story play out without any words. Also, at the start of each level, the loading screen tells a story based on what character you're playing as. If you beat the game with Bahamut, you get a small ending cinematic where he leaves his old badge in the sand and walks away in the desert, possibly searching for a new meaning in life after defeating the evil Tiberius. This character is also interesting because Colonel Bahamut is the main antagonist of Contra Hardcore. Being the Uprising serves as a prequel, this definitely could be the same Bahamut, but the producers have stated that no, it's just the same name and has no relation to each other. Hardcore Uprising was meant to be the first of a prequel trilogy, but I guess now we'll never know the rest of the story.
Number 9.
Coming at number 9 is the character from the same game. Hardcore Uprising had 3 downloadable characters available for purchase. Leviathan, who was Bahamut's partner in the Commonwealth, Hardy Daniels, who has a sweet pompadour, but one on this list is Sayuri. Sayuri is an interesting character in both story and gameplay. First, the gameplay. Sayuri is a samurai dressed in a full kimono and Sugasasa attire. Her only weapon is her sword. That's right, unlike the rest of the characters in this game, Sayuri does not pick up any weapons the entire game, rather just uses her sword. The sword is extremely powerful and can kill most enemies in 1 or 2 hits, and bosses in just a few hits. This also puts her at close range for the entire game. She is very quick, so using her speed in conjunction with her sword, you can literally run through the entire game. She is also said to be the daughter of Tiberius, the main antagonist, so her motive for the game is revenge on Tiberius, who left her and her mother to fend for themselves. The ending sequence shows her walking away in tears as she finally got what she wanted, her revenge, but at the same time has killed her father.
Number 8.
Our next character, Lucia, first appeared in Shattered Soldier alongside Bill Riser. She is a Bionoid who was constructed with alien DNA to be the ultimate soldier. The scientist who designed her is none other than Dr. Neo Mandrake. That's right, that's the same scientist you rescued in Hardcore Uprising, and also is the same character from Contra Hardcore on Genesis. He had a major role in Contra Hardcore, turning evil and doing experimentation with the alien cell, and eventually siding with the antagonist, Colonel Bahamut. So as you can see, these stories are kind of loosely intertwined with each other between games. So back to Lucia. Her job and role in Shattered Soldier was to look over Bill Riser and be his partner. Bill Riser was blamed and jailed for the murder of 80% of the world's population, sometime after the Alien War game takes place. Lucia also returns in Neo Contra under the name Pheromone Contra, this time as a villain rather than a playable character. She even looks more cyborgish in this game. Lucia can also be unlocked as a playable character in Neo Contra on PS2 if you can beat the first 4 levels in under 18 minutes.
I guess this one is Pheromone Contra then. Get ready.
Always the tough guy, Billy dear.
What? How do you know about me? And who the hell are you?
My. What a cold reception. Now, don't tell me you've forgotten.
No. It can't be. Lucia.
What? This is the legendary Bioroid you fought alongside with?
What do you think you're doing, Lucia? Why are you signing?
Number 7.
The first of a few Contra Hardcore characters on this list is Ray Powered. He's first seen in Contra Hardcore game as one of the 4 selectable characters. His backstory describes how he was born and raised in the slums of the city until finally being recruited by Hardcore. That's the name of the protagonist faction in Contra Hardcore. He was noticed by Hardcore for his unsurpassed combat skills and instincts. All the weapons in Contra Hardcore are unique to each character with their own 4 select weapons, A, B, C, and D. Ray Power seems to have the most old-school Contra weapon set, including the infamous Spread Gun as his C weapon. Ray Power did appear on 2 Appaloosa games, known as Contra Legacy of War and C the Contra Adventure, but these games were a disgrace, and it seems that Konami officially dropped these from the timeline, and now considers them a spin-off taking place in some alternate universe. Not like it mattered, Ray Power looked and acted completely different in those 2 games anyway, so we're better off just remembering him for his role in Contra Hardcore.
Number 6.
Genbi Yagyu, otherwise known as Jaguar, was first introduced for a Neo Contra game for PlayStation 2. This character was unique as we haven't seen a samurai or sword-wielding character in the franchise until this point. It's all basically been running and gunning. Now don't get me wrong, Genbi Yagyu does have his fair share of running and gunning, but you can also unlock his katana sword in Neo Contra by simply beating the game on any level on normal difficulty. Although he's a samurai, it's said he has been sent from another planet and is more like an alien-human hybrid. Judging by the hidden cutscene at the end of Neo Contra, he's pretty badass. I mean, that sword can literally cut through the entire planet. Check this out. Genbi Yagyu also appears alongside Bill Riser again in the Contra Rebirth game released on the Wii in 2009. Although in this game he doesn't sport that cool katana and pretty much plays the same as Bill Riser does.
Number 5.
Going back to Contra Hardcore, now we're going to talk about Brad Fang. This guy was created using cyborg technology and is basically a wolf with a Gatling gun as an arm. As of now, his only appearance is in this one Contra Hardcore game on Genesis. Yeah, I'm not counting that mobile stuff from China, I can't even get to work over here. So anyway, he has 4 unique weapons to himself, as does the rest of the Contra Hardcore cast. He is for sure the strongest character in Hardcore, but also the hardest to play. He is very tall, making him have a larger sprite with a bigger hitbox, and also doesn't slide as far as the other characters do. His weapons are based on mostly close combat, making him even riskier to use, but are the strongest weapons in the game. His punch is so strong it can kill most enemies in just 1 hit, and most of the bosses in just a few hits, if you can manage to get close enough to use it.
Number 4.
In the number 4 spot is the First Lady of Contra, Shiina. She marks the first playable character in any of the Contra titles, as well as one of the best overall characters to use. She makes her debut in Contra Hardcore alongside 2 of the 3 characters we already mentioned in this list. Her backstory, quoted from the instruction booklet, states, "A fierce warrior whose abilities go far beyond those suggested by her appearance, especially in guerrilla tactics. In jungle combat, she is said to be the equal of the entire squad." Well, I'm not sure how true that is, but I'll be honest and say she's my favorite character to use in Contra Hardcore. She has strong weapons overall, all pretty easy to use, and none are gimmicky. None require close combat like that punching stuff from Fang was doing. She was also brought back as an unlockable character in Contra 4 on the DS, where she, looks like she had kind of a makeover, you know what I'm saying? She can be unlocked by completing 28 challenges in the challenge mode.
Number 3.
Coming in number 3 is Lance Bean. He's been here since the beginning, from the first Contra game as Bill Reiser's sidekick. He appears in most of the original games like Contra, Super C, and even has his own game as the only player in Operation C on the Game Boy. Well, he used the Japan name of Scorpion, but hey, it's still the same person. But then something happened. He's always been known as Player 2. Maybe over the years it started to get to him. Always being Bill's sidekick, always wearing red, never allowed to wear blue. Finally, he snapped, and in Contra Shattered Soldier, he was actually the villain. Turns out he wasn't dead like everyone thought he was, and Bill Reiser didn't actually kill him like he was accused of. Towards the end of the game, you fight Lance in his human form, but then Lance injects himself with whatever alien stuff they have, and this time becomes one with the aliens. You gotta fight him 3, 4, 5 different times, in different forms, in cool boss fights. But that wasn't it for Lance Bean. He comes back in Contra Rebirth, not as one of the playable characters, nope, that's just Bill Reiser. But Lance Bean, rather, he's working undercover as a crossdresser. And I quote, "Undercover as a local woman, he fights a lonely battle inside enemy territory." Okay. So in Shattered Soldier, he's the villain and he dies, and in Rebirth, he's an undercover crossdresser. I guess they weren't really sure where to take his character in these story arcs. Poor Lance.
Number 2.
Talk about a monopoly. This is the 4th character on the list from Contra Hardcore. But this time it's my man's Brownie. Also known as CX-DA300 to his homies. Brownie's only appearance is in Contra Hardcore for Genesis. Although there's another female Brownie in Contra Rebirth, but that's not the same character. Brownie's one of the most unique characters in Contra Hardcore. For starter, the guy is very small, making it easier to dodge whatever projectiles come at you. Second, he's the only character with a double jump, and also after the double jump, he can glide down using his little jetpack. So basically, picking him is like cheating. Only a noob's gonna pick him in Contra Hardcore. It's not even fair to use him. Kidding aside, he also has a pretty unique weapon set with some oddball stuff, like the electromagnetic yo-yo, which does just what it says. You hold down the fire button, he throws out this yo-yo that circles around enemies and deals a heck of a lot of damage to them. Besides Fang stuff, this is probably the strongest weapon in the game.
Number 1.
Number 1, Bubba from Contra Legacy of War. Nah, really. It's obvious the number 1 spot here is going to be for Bill Riser. Bill has been in almost every single Contra game from the start until now. Contra, Super C, Shadow Soldier, Neo Contra, Contra 4, Rebirth, and more. He's always been player 1, like me, so we have a close connection. I spent over a year and a half of my life controlling this guy. I mean, we're really close and know each other well. Although his weaponry and stuff is pretty much the same as Lance Bean's in early Contra games, he took a turn in Shadow Soldier and went completely badass. Just check out some of these moves in opening cutscenes. And look at this pic right here. That's literally Arnold Schwarzenegger. Bill Riser has become so badass, he's basically Arnie. And then again in the following game, Neo Contra, Bill Riser is just as machismo with his new partner in crime, Genbi Jaguar Yagu. I mean, these guys are really broing it out in this game. I can't blame him though, Bill's a pretty cool guy. Heck, if you want to, if you're good enough at the game, you can even unlock him in a thong. If that's your thing, I mean, I'm not judging. I unlocked it. For all the effort Bill has put into stopping the Red Falcon, for all the times he died throughout the series, which is a lot, and for being the keystone, the main protagonist, and holding it all together, Bill Riser takes his top spot for number 1 playable character in the Contra franchise. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to see the full video review of any of these games, click up here to the top right to watch our Contra playlist. If you want to see the video about the game in number 1 spot, click down here to the bottom right. Thanks for watching and have a great day.